This is Tanks Vlog for March 21st, 2019. We're here. It's March. Well, we got the first four out of the way. You know, I don't care what anyone says. If you're in the first four, it's almost like you do have to play in to get into the tournament. You're not really in the tournament unless you win the first four. Period. And the two games that were played today was North Dakota State edging North Carolina Central. So, the coach for North Carolina Central, he said his biggest fear was to face Duke. Well, Lavelle Morton, you don't have to worry. You don't have to face Duke. And in the nightcap, it was Arizona State beating St. John's 74-65. These were the last two teams in the tournament, and boy, they look like it. Especially St. John's, who just its entire second half of the year just continued to play sloppy basketball. Turnovers. Arizona State wanted St. John's to come back, catch up, but every time they started to, St. John's would commit an unforced turnover. St. John's was unorganized, uncompobulated. You know, I'm not sure about Chris Mullin's coaching career. It took him 4 years to get St. John's to the NCAA tournament. They barely made it. Started 12-0, played terribly the second half of the season. Personally, I don't think they deserve to be in. I'd rather see more mid-majors make it than teams that have losing records in conference, as St. John's did. And teams that have played terrible basketball down the stretch should also be considered. And it just continued as Arizona State won their first playoff tournament game in like 7 years, I believe. Bobby Hurley getting the win. Now, Bobby Hurley will face his former team, Buffalo, in the real part of the tournament on Friday. Speaking of the real part of the tournament, check out my Final Four NCAA preview. I pick every single game. You can check it out at Barstool Sports, Tanks NCAA preview. As for the Final Four, I think this is the year we see ACC domination. Yes, that's right. ACC domination. I am going to pick all four Final Four teams to be ACC teams. Duke, Florida State, Virginia, and North Carolina. Now, I really don't like the Virginia pick. I don't like Virginia as a team. I don't like Tony Bennett as coach come tournament time. But that South region is as soft as butter. I mean, I've never seen a region this soft. You got Villanova in there. Villanova's got the championship pedigree, but they don't have the talent this year. And I think Villanova can make a run to the Elite Eight. The whole region is just... It's a lousy region. It's a lousy region. I'm not a big Tennessee guy. I'm not a big... There's not teams I like in this scene. I can't find a team in this region that I like. It's lousy. It's a lousy region. Wisconsin, they always have their letdown. K-State, Purdue, they're so inconsistent. Iowa could be a dark horse. Keep an eye on Iowa. Don't be surprised if they go to the Elite Eight. But I just don't like that region. I think the East region sets up as just a collision course between Duke and Michigan State. They're the two top teams in this region. I like Belmont to go to Sweet 16. I like Liberty to upset Mississippi State. And don't be shocked if Yale beats LSU, which is just a mess right now with their coach suspended and the scandal that just hangs over Baton Rouge. In the West region, you know, Gonzaga was #1 all year, but I think Gonzaga That loss to St. Mary's was troubling. Don't be shocked to see them go down in the second round to Syracuse. As mentioned before, I'm picking Florida State to come out of the region. And another team I think could make a lot of noise is Buffalo. Don't be shocked to see Buffalo go to the Elite Eight. And rounding out with the Midwest region, North Carolina. This region stacked. You got North Carolina could win, Kentucky could win, Houston. I like Houston a lot. I think this year Kansas goes down meekly. You'll see Kansas will not make it to Kansas City. And why does the NCAA tournament love Kansas so much? It's almost like they try to hand him in the tournament. I'm picking him to go out in the first round. Every time I've done that, they've screwed me and gone to the championship, the Final Four. If they go to Final Four this year, I will scream with anger. Because Kansas is not good. They should not be getting home games in the semifinal, in the Sweet 16. And someone's got to knock them out the first weekend. And I think any of those four teams, New Mexico State, who I'm picking to go to the Sweet 16, Auburn, Northeastern, I'm picking Kansas to go down in the first round. Seton Hall, I wish they had a better draw. Wofford could make some noise. Don't be shocked if Wofford beats Kentucky. Don't be shocked. I like Houston to get to the Elite Eight, and I like North Carolina to win the region. And I think we're going to have the ultimate grudge match war, the greatest championship matchup ever. I'm talking Duke against North Carolina, and the Blue Devils will cut down the nets. Baseball actually began today. The game's in Japan. Ichiro, who, from my understanding, is not going to play beyond this series in Japan. So, obviously a future Hall of Famer, so this is almost like a curtain call more than just continuing his career. I mean, this game was just slugfest, 5 home runs between the Mariners and A's as the Mariners won 9-7. And, of course, the big blow was Domingo Santana's grand slam in the third. Two teams will be meeting again on Thursday before coming home and waiting a week before starting the season like everyone else does. Why couldn't they put these games on the weekend at least? Jeez. Just think those people in California and Seattle have to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch baseball. Woof. NBA. What a year James Harden's had. You know, the MVP right now is a two-man race between Giannis Antetokounmpo and James Harden. And James Harden, what a year he's having. Another 50-point night, but it was a loss. It came in a loss. 57 points. He is the first player to have 7 50-point games. Excuse me, he's the third most 50-point games in a season since 1976 with 7. And don't be shocked if he adds another 1 or 2 this year. The only 2 players that have more 50-point games in a season over the last 4 decades, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. So James Harden, 57 points, but the Rockets did not red glare, losing to the Memphis Grizzlies 126-125. Oh, the Knicks. The Knicks went down to defeat 137-116 to Utah. It was the Cadavers beating the Bucks 107-102 as Giannis Antetokounmpo is sitting out a couple of games. The Magic beat the Pelicans 119-96. Magic are trying to make a run at the playoffs. It was the 76ers 118-115 winners over the Celtics. The Bulls in overtime over the Wizards 126-120. It was the Heat scorching the Spurs 110-105. The Toronto Raptors with a big comeback. Well, actually, it was Thunder that came back in the fourth quarter, but the Raptors rebounded and outscored Oklahoma City 13-4 in overtime for a 123-114 win. And it was the Trailblazers beating the Mavericks 126-118. NHL, the Toronto Maple Leafs got back in the win column, beating the Buffalo Sabres 4-2. Andrei Vasilevsky made 54 saves, faced 58 shots, as the Tampa Bay Lightning downed the Washington Capitals in overtime. What a season it has been for the Lightning. By far the best team. The only question is, can they carry on? And today it was Victor Hedman with the game winner in overtime. You know, as good as their season has been, anything short of the Stanley Cup now will be a massive disappointment. It was the Canucks beating the Senators 7-4, and the Jets went through the Ducks 3-0. 29 save shutout by Connor Hellebuyck. Today's three stars are James Harden, who had 57 points in a losing effort. Connor Hellebuyck, who had a 29 save shutout for Winnipeg. And Tim Beckham, who went 3 for 3, hit a home run, and had 3 runs scored in the Mariners' season-opening win in Tokyo over the Athletics. Today's birthday shout-out is going to a man whose career looked like it was just about over, but he had a good season for Washington. I'm talking about Adrian Peterson, who turns 34. And we take a look back to 1964, when UCLA's dynasty began. UCLA would win 10 of 12 NCAA tournaments between 1964 and 1975, and the 64 season was their first, culminating with a 30-0 record as they beat Duke in the final. So check out the full story at Barstool Sports and Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives. Bring on the madness. Good day.